Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to talk about when sometimes our art just stinks. Yeah, we all do that. We all have big stinkeroonies sometimes in our sketchbook, stuff we're not happy with. And sometimes that stuff is artwork that other people would be pleased as punch to be creating. But for whatever, it's not meeting up with our expectations. It's not coming out on paper the way it is in our minds, and it's just frustrating. And sometimes it's just a mindset. Our artwork is fine, but we're just not feeling it. We're showing up, we're putting in the hours, and it's just not working. It doesn't look the way we want it to look. And I want to let you know that it's completely normal. I've been drawing since a young child. I started in art lessons when I was 5. I have a bit of a leg up, and I want to make sure everybody knows that. So when I'm complaining and saying this art is a big stinkeroony and I'm not happy with it, I'm not saying that you should be comparing your art to my art. You may have been drawing longer than me. You may not have been drawing as long as me. And this is just my own perception of how this artwork is coming along, and I am not here for it today. I am frustrated, and I want to love this paint that I'm using. I want to love this artwork that I'm making, and it just isn't working. So I got to tell you, when I'm feeling like this, there's two options. You push through it, or you can put it on a shelf and come back to it. And I think both of those options are valid, but for me, I find that I am more of a push through type of person than put it away and come back to it later. That's just me. Maybe it's wrong. I don't know. But if you always set it aside, maybe try pushing through sometimes. If you always push through, maybe try setting it aside sometimes, or trying something different. And you're going to see that I try some different tactics towards the end of this video. I think though, I would say at least finish up the painting that you're doing, because sometimes you just need to see it through to the end, and then you're going to realize what worked and what didn't, and you're going to find areas to improve. So I started with a very light pencil sketch. I want to get quicker at sketching architecture and urban sketching, and so I didn't want to spend a ton of time with the pencil. I actually just kind of wanted to jump in with pen, but I knew I needed a little bit of a structure there first. So I did do a little bit of light pencil sketch, and then I rolled my kneaded eraser over there to pick up those pencil lines. And I just want to get faster at it. I don't necessarily want to have I'm not looking for an architectural rendering. I'm looking for almost like a landscape, basically, more organic, more personality than fact, I guess, more feeling than fact, maybe, in my artwork. And I'm starting off with once I get the paint going, I'm usually feeling a little bit better, because it's like, yeah, I like to see the paint flow. I like to see the colors. I'm really intrigued by this new paint set that I have. It's the Derwent Line and Wash set. And I'm thinking, this is kind of cool. I like that there's a variety of different media in here. There's some graphitin, there's some ink tints, there's some pastel watercolor. And I like that variety of media. And I just think sometimes having somebody else choose your materials, like if you've ever done a subscription box or anything like that, gone to a class where the instructor supplies you materials, sometimes it's kind of fun just to get a random assortment of stuff and just work with that. It's a little liberating, because you don't have to spend all this time deciding and use up all your decisions on just what to use. But I was also finding some limitations here, and plus it's a very monochrome image. It is a lot of this green gray going on, and I prefer warm colors generally. I prefer yellows and reds and pinks, and that's what I tend to gravitate to. So I was kind of struggling with the color scheme that I was working with here, but I did want to kind of keep in that color scheme. And I just was kind of almost envisioning this ethereal, quick landscape to be in my sketchbook. And it just, I don't know, it was stiff and it was forced, and it just didn't feel the way I wanted it to. Looking back at this, I think something that I want to do in the future when I'm attempting something like this in my sketchbook is to set a timer, because I think if I gave myself 20 minutes, I would do less hemming and hawing. I would jump in and I would have a much better pace, and I don't think I would be as unhappy with my result. I feel like I just fussed with it too much, honestly, here. I have to say, though, looking back at this, I'm not as critical. I like it more now that I've had a few days to process it and to just be away from it. One thing I think I did pretty well here is the contrasts. So when you're looking at the reference image there, you can see that it's the colors that are being used. It's almost grayscale in the fact that it's all very similar greens and grays. But I feel like I exploited the contrasts pretty well and the values pretty well, which you kind of have to do if you don't have a lot of color information. And I'm happy with that. I like what I did there. I like the contrast I got in the rocks. I like the contrast I got in the trees, although I feel like it might be a little bit stiff, like the foliage is a little bit stiff. I like how I was able to carve out the differences in those layers of depth. So sometimes it just takes you, when you come back to it, you will see it with fresh eyes and you will be less critical of it. When you're in it, when you're fighting with it, when you are in the battle, that's all you can see. And if you're in a bad mood for whatever reason, if you're feeling a little unfocused or uncentered, that's going to play a part in how you see your work and how you feel about it when you're creating. If you're completely relaxed and you're enjoying yourself, maybe you're having a delicious cup of coffee, or you're hanging out with some friends and sketching together, you're sitting outside at a cafe, those good vibes can kind of infect your painting as well. They can make you feel really good about what you're doing. You might look back at that painting like, that was not that great, but boy, I sure enjoyed making it. And so you're going to have positive feelings about it. You can look at something that you actually painted pretty well and just feel awful about it because you're just thinking about the battle. I had an instructor once who relayed a story to me about one of his favorite painters who said he always hates his work for about the first year. He puts it away and doesn't look at it for a year because during that first year, all he remembers is the battle. When he looks at it a year later, he just looks at the painting kind of agnostically. He looks at the painting without having those prejudices of, oh, I remember I hated that stroke. I hated that color. I really struggled there. And that's all he can see at the beginning. But when you put it away and you come back to it, you can look at it with fresh eyes. That's why you can look at somebody's artwork and be like, oh, wow, I love that. I love that edge. I love that color. I love where it blends there. And you're seeing it truthfully for what it is, where the artist is thinking, oh, I remember having to lift that up 5 times, or I remember I just couldn't make the paint do what I wanted it, or I just couldn't get that color right. We have this intimate knowledge of our artwork, and we remember what it felt like to paint it. So even though the artwork might be good, we're not seeing it for that. We are seeing the struggles. We might have had a really crappy day. Maybe we had a fight with our kid or our spouse, and that's all we're thinking about when we're painting. And we've got this negative feeling. I can look back through a sketchbook and I can remember like what I was listening to at the time. Like I like to listen to audiobooks, and sometimes I will have a show just like binge watch playing in the background while I'm working. And because I have a very hard time just sitting down and watching a TV show. I'll have something just kind of going in the background for noise. I'll remember what I was watching. I'll remember what I was listening to. I'll remember the feelings I would have. Sometimes I'll even look at old videos and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember I was about to have a nervous breakdown during that one. And it's like, even though the project is fun and it's an uplifting, upbeat video, I can remember that I was like having a really rough day and I didn't want to film that day, and I was just we transported instantly back to that when I see the project. So we've got all this baggage that we don't even realize when we're creating, and it can really affect how we feel about our work. So it might not be your work, it might just be your perception of your work. And it's really hard to dissect ourselves from that, or divest from that when we're trying to critically go back and look at our work. Now, I want to offer a tip here, and that is I downloaded a free app called Unsplash, which I've mentioned before. You've probably heard of it. You've probably used the computer version. Well, there's an app version of it, and I really like that because you can either download a photo from the app, and then you can zoom in, you can move it all around. I really like that feature. You can also download some pictures for use offline later, and I like that as well because I always have my phone with me, and I find it's very useful for collecting reference photos. So the reason why I like that app is that I don't like to download a ton of stuff onto my phone, and I like to take photos off of my phone fairly frequently so I don't have to like hunt through for a bunch of stuff. And I like that with Unsplash, I make collections. So if I know I'm going to be doing, like I did a couple paintings of cocktails where it was just kind of like a collage of different cocktails. And I went through and I just made a collection of different cocktails that I like. And then when I went to sketch it, I was actually at I went to an open studio to do some sketching. I could pull those up and I could easily find what I wanted. I didn't lose things, and it keeps everything really well organized, and it's free. There are some photos there that you can pay to use that are a little bit, that are like part of their Unsplash Plus membership, but you can also filter it by the free photos, and I find that's really useful for reference photos for me, especially when I like to take a bunch of things and add it together, or I'm just looking to do little sketches in my sketchbook of architecture. It's a great way to find that. I decided to call it a day with the painting at this stage, and it's not my favorite, but I'm not unhappy with it, and I think it's okay. It's okay. I'm not ashamed to have it in my sketchbook, but I was also kind of feeling not precious about that sketch, that I was like, well, let's fill up this rest of this space with some other architectural studies. I was just like not willing to give in or give up. So I'm like, I feel like I want to go more in detail on a small architectural section, because I like still life. I like ornaments. I like decoration. I think I kind of like that Baroque and Rococo type of feeling. And so I'm like, well, let me see if I can find a detail of a column. So I looked on Unsplash, I looked for columns, and I found one. I zoomed into it because it was just part of a building. So I zoomed into it, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna use shades of purple, so I can go like lighter and warmer with reds and yellows. I can go cooler and darker with blues, grays, and purples, and I can kind of almost run the gamut between a deep indigo to a pinky color with this line and wash set. And those would be using the Ink Tense products from the set, and I like that there's a pretty good primary range there, and I felt like I could kind of get in and play with that pretty well. I used my little mini spray bottle that was in my little sketching kit, and I used that to wet an area and then just let the paint kind of flood out, because that's the look that I love. When I see these like architectural sketches, I see these urban sketches, what I love is those juicy bits that fade off into the ether, and I like that contrast of having a harsh line that's really dark fading out into nothing. And I was trying to kind of catch that vibe with my artwork, and so that's what I'm trying to do here. The brush I'm using, sadly, is sold out now. It's from my signature set with Craft Ammo, and they just sold out last weekend. But if you can find, I really recommend a cat's tongue brush. I love that in a faux squirrel, because it's very receptive. It's very responsive. You can do tiny lines. You can do thick lines. I feel like it's not so puttery. You can lay down a lot of paint if you want to, but you can also get a detail if you want to. So you'll look for a 1/2 inch, a 3/8 to 1/2 inch faux squirrel quill if you want to get a brush similar to that. And yeah, I found that to be really, really helpful. It would be really awesome to have a brush like this in a travel size. I'll have to see if I can find something like that, because I think I would enjoy having that in my in my travel kit. Not that I need anything else in my travel bag, but we all we refine and we build as we go. But I'm really liking what's happening here. First of all, I like the colors better. Red is my favorite color. If I can introduce red into something, it makes me happy. But I still wasn't quite there yet, but I was feeling just like a little taste of what I was trying to achieve. So I looked up another detailed reference, and I found this little corbel here. And so I thought, well, let me kind of play with this. As I'm drawing this, I'm like, this reminds me so much of like the Looney Tunes. I don't know why. It just reminds me of like Granny's apartment and Looney Tunes where Tweety Bird is. I feel like they would have some decorations like this on the building. And I was definitely feeling this. My sketching is not great. I probably should have gone in with a pencil first, but I'm like, no, I am just kind of try to catch this vibe a little bit and do it. And so I sketched it a couple times and just decided, okay, we're just gonna throw some values and see if we can catch the values that I want, get the color vibes that I'm going for, and just see what I can create here and see if I can make something happen. I also noticed that with these architectural studies, I have really sped up. I think because I had the bad pancake out of the way, I'm like, well, this layout is not going to be perfect, so might as well just jump in and have fun and do it, go into those shadows harshly, and then throw in the midtones and just have fun with it. And I did. And honestly, I am not unhappy with this spread. I decided to do a little rock formation with the super granulating paints too. I didn't film it, but I did that. And yeah, I mean, as a whole, I think all these little snippets work well together. I am not super thrilled with any of them, but I'm not embarrassed to show it on YouTube and to maybe help you work through some of your difficulties with your sketching, because we all have those stinkers. We all have those days where we're not feeling it, but you got to show up. The more time you put in behind the brush, the better your artwork is going to show up. And I hope you found that encouraging. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up before you go. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.